Do the spins!
Boys and girls, children of all ages, Kameha-Con embarrassingly brings to you Hail Zeon's GT Apologist panel. I am Hail Zeon, elitist anime style by day, mediocre YouTuber by night. For those who are familiar with my work, I probably look a little different. Way less bearded than in my videos. You want to try to get into an American airline with that, you know. Last thing I actually needed to start my vacation, I was like, I'm going to go to Kameha-Con. Sir, would you please come here for random cavity search? Okay. For those who are not familiar with me, I've basically made my name in this community by being, let's just say, critical of Dragon Ball Super. Yeah, I've been fairly harsh over the years, called, you know, some fairly mean names over it. And another thing that I've also been kind of known for is being overly positive towards GT. And the reason, not that I think that GT is a phenomenal series, that it's really deserving of a whole bunch of praise, but because, see, now the nerves are setting in. Stress.
He works with the cavity search.
Yeah, at least the limp went away. But yeah, not just necessarily that I think it's that it is deserving of, like, you know, great praise or anything, but that I think it is kind of like unfairly maligned. I think it really gets trashed on a lot, and honestly, I just don't want to add to that. Like, you know, that's not interesting. Just repeat what everyone else is saying. So, let's see. I have to, like, go through my list. Okay. So, yeah, I just wanted to go through, like, you know, for me, GT is something that I enjoy it for what it is, and I actually kind of respect it more than I would say it is a good show. Like, I appreciate what it tries to do. It tries to, you know, because, like, put yourself in the mindset of the people who had to make this show. The people who are like, okay, we're following up Akira Toriyama, one of the greatest manga, one of the most respected men in his industry. And these writers are like, we have to follow up Dragon Ball? What the? So like, yeah, I don't envy these guys. So, you know, and the first thing that they try to come up with, they try to go, like, you know, back to the source, you know, to the well, like, you know, to pull new ideas. The first thing they do is, like, the Black Star Dragon Balls, you know, and they're like, you know, we're gonna do a throwback to the original Dragon Ball. We're gonna make Goku a kid again, but we're gonna make this big epic space adventure. And little known fact is, you know, about 3 episodes into this production, they went, oh shit, that's a dumb idea. This work's gonna be boring. Nobody wants to see a space adventure. They want fighting. Oh shit. So at that point, you have GT's writers who are now scrambling to be like, okay, we need to try to fix this. And it's not even like, oh, like the show started getting bad reviews or, like, you know, bad ratings. It was just like them on their own realized this is not going to be an entertaining story. Like, we can't just keep this space adventure going. So then they have to just completely retool what they're doing, kind of, you know, and you can feel when the arc shifts. Like, when it goes from, we're having a fun space adventure to, what's all this weird shit? Which, by the way, brings me to something that I've always appreciated about GT is, and something that I don't think anyone ever brings up about GT, whether you are speaking positively or negatively about it, is GT is fucking weird. It is incredibly weird. Okay, from the point, like, you get past, like, you know, we're having a fun space adventure, because, like, you end up with, like, this weird obese catfish monster that creates earthquakes. Terrible episodes. Terrible episodes. I will never defend those. But then we start getting into the really weird shit, where you end up with the Para brothers, which are exercise muscle-bound, like 80s, like guys with, like, their vest turns into boom boxes and light kits, and just boom pada pada, boom pada pada.
Zeon, do the dance.
It's so much fun. They are such fun characters, and then GT goes off the rails at this point, because, you know, this is where, like, you know, they're making that course correction. And they clearly don't have a story yet. And, like, they introduce the Para brothers, and it goes off the track. You know, they steal the Dragon Ball. Things go off the track, and then it goes further off the track, and it starts plowing through houses and traffic and killing people. And you end up, like, the Para brothers work for a crazy religious space cult. Yeah. Like, what? And run by a guy named Kono Mochi Mochi, who has a whip that turns people into dolls that feeds in the power of their god, which is a giant robot baby thing. And then, when our heroes go to confront these guys, they kill Mochi Mochi, and then his whip comes to life, and it turns into this yellow xenomorph thing with whips, and it's like, what? And then you find out that guy isn't even like the whip wasn't the leader, that other guy wasn't the leader. The actual leader is some sort of weird doll fetishist and borderline pedophile, because man, he got a little too close to Pan. But yeah, like you have doll talking, like that's weird enough. No, father doll talking, because he's the leader of this religion, Buddhism, very fitting for a man who's obsessed with dolls and little girls. And we then get introduced to the actual guy at the top of the food chain, Dr. Mew, which then gets us into the machine mutants, and this is where it starts getting really creative, and it starts really kind of coalescing into a proper narrative. But we get into Planet M2. It's a whole metal planet. These bio-techno-organic life forms that are super powerful, and some cool fights, some cool characters. But then we get introduced to Baby. And
yes,
Baby, they beat Baby, then Baby shows back up on Earth while they're out having their space adventure. And then we find out that Baby is a Sufurigen, or a Tuffle for those who watch the dub. It's like he is part of the people that the science had slaughtered. Like the science had slaughtered their entire race, that they were on that planet first. So for Baby, this is like a thing about revenge, and it's just like, oh crap, it's really starting to dig deep back into Dragon Ball. So that's something else I really appreciate about GT, is that it looks back to the past to find things to reference, to pull into for new material. And thing is, though, you would think, now that we've got our villain, now we've got the story kind of coalescing, the weirdness is over, right? No?
Nope.
Because Goku goes to confront Baby, and Baby uses his Revenge Death Ball. He's almost about to be obliterated. Kaioshin steps in, goes to teleport him away. The shockwave from the Revenge Death Ball, well, he's in the dimension between dimensions, basically, for his teleportation. Fucking drops Goku! And he drops him in a thing called Sugaroku space, which is basically board game limbo. And then Goku has to play a board game against some asshole named Seguro, who's this blue alien with black eyes and something. And we're on this weird board game side story that Goku has to now go through. But okay, that's weird enough on its own. There's a lot of trippy visuals, a lot of weird stuff going on there. But then they up the weirdness a little bit more by going, oh, Seguro was cheating because the dice were his son, who is a green space Tanuki. And by the way, the blue alien is also a green space Tanuki. Why? Why did they even do that? I don't know, but it's weird and it's fun and it's ridiculous, and it is the type of weird imaginative stuff that really came out of Toei's writing staff, when you just let them go ham. You just let them do whatever they wanted. They clearly didn't have a roadmap here. They didn't have Toriyama Senpai there to okay guys, I built you this bridge, you can cross it. No, they were given some sticks and some string. It's they had to build their own goddamn bridge.
some sticks.
Yeah, so yeah, then, and, like I said, after this point, it's like I said, it starts selling back into being a normal series again. But then every so often, you bring in Super 17, which, when you actually say out loud what he is a machine mutant made in, first off, he is two parts of two different 17s. The original Android 17 that we're all familiar with, and Hellfighter 17, a machine mutant created in Hell by Dr. Gero and Dr. Mew. And then they fuse, and then they become jacked and can absorb energy now for reasons. But during this whole thing that's happening, Goku gets trapped in Hell, and it's okay, he's gonna fight guys in Hell. That's gonna be cool. But then Frieza and Cell put him in the Hell beneath Hell, Hell's Hell, where he goes through all these weird torture things from some weird creepy old midget woman who is just oh, and then the tickle torture and the sweatbox torture and the freezing torture. It's what? So yeah, it always kept like a really weird, a very weird weirdness to it that makes it very unique, and really always kept me interested. Even if like the stories themselves weren't necessarily rock solid, I could say I was at least very rarely bored because I was always going, what the fuck? Yeah, and like even like the evil dragons, like half of them are gag villains. Like, and I'm gonna admit a lot of them suck. But you know, like there's a lot of creativity going there too. So yeah, but another thing I want to go to is because yeah, like I said, that's all the weird stuff. But beyond just being weird, like I feel like it genuinely did try to respect Dragon Ball's lore and storytelling, like things that have been said. A lot of people really like to just fine-tooth comb GT to be like, they said this line that doesn't coalesce with these things. It's like, even though completely ignoring the fact that like Z would contradict itself all the time. You know, it's like how can Dr. Mew and Dr. Garo go and make a machine mutant in hell when people in hell don't have bodies? Well, did you watch the anime? Because the anime didn't give a shit about that. They just gave them bodies. You know, so it was following what the anime had done. And, you know, like I really feel that like I said, like GT really tries to go back to its, go back to the well, go back to the source to find and mine new ideas. And a lot of people will throw around the sentence that GT is a series of great ideas, bad execution. And yeah, like, and I feel like what a lot of people mean by that is like if you look at like what like the core concepts of that we're rolling with in the game, the Black Star Dragon Balls. On paper, that sounds like kind of like a neat idea. Like we're gonna do like the old throwback to Dragon Ball. You know, they really wanted to respect the roots. But like the Black Star Dragon Balls themselves tie back into Dragon Ball's lore. You have, you know, they were Dragon Balls that were created by the nameless Namekian before Kami and Daimao has split. And then, you know, obviously, you know, whenever Piccolo and Kami had refused, obviously that would mean these Dragon Balls are now active again, and they are now linked to that Piccolo. Which also I've always kind of appreciated because it never made sense to me in Z, where it's like, I've fused with Kami, I can't, we don't have Dragon Balls anymore. Piccolo, just make some more, you're Kami, right? Just make some more, and he doesn't. It's just like, if you have the same abilities of both guys combined, why are you not just going to make more Dragon Balls? Well, like, this kind of retroactively, you know, for me, just kind of filled that in and just went, well, I mean, he did, and they're going to blow up the planets, let's not use those. So yeah, like, I love that idea. Like I said, Baby. Another character I think is great. Horribly underrepresented in this fandom, in this community, in this franchise. Like, they won't even put him in the goddamn games anymore. I feel like he was one of the most interesting characters. Because here you have a villain with an actual beef against our characters. You know, like every other villain, they're usually just evil for the sake of being evil. You know, Daimao was just, you know, the evil side of God. You have Vegeta, you know, and all the Saiyans, you know, they were just like, you know, planet slaughtering monsters. Frieza was their planet slaughtering warlord. You know, Cell was just like, I'm really strong, I'm just gonna be evil and kill all of you guys. Majin Buu was like fat and happy, but then like he was like ripped and angry and then just wanted to fight people too. And blow up planets.
And then he was small and ripped and angry and,
yeah.
and just insane.
Yeah, so you know, like here we have a villain who's, you know, like his backstory tied back into the history of Dragon Ball. Like, you know, like it's, you know, and also gives filler some value because, you know, Toei's writers, you know, they had to fill in a lot of things, you know, to pad out that manga material for the anime. And, you know, so like the whole thing with the Sphurians, the Tuffles, you know, I believe that does come from like a Toriyama idea, isn't it?
Yes, it's a memo he wrote.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, you know, like they're going back to like Toriyama's memos, going back to like filler that they had created, and trying to take something that originally technically had no value in the original story other than to just eat up time, and now it's a relevant plot point in this new series where you have this villain who has his personal vendetta. His people were slaughtered by King Vegeta, by the Saiyans. He hates them, you know, like he is the last of his people, and now he has shown up on Earth to conquer the planet of the people that conquered his, converting those people to his people, ruling them as their new king. And who does he take over? The son of the man that slaughtered his people.
Yes.
Like, that is poetic. That is great. And, you know, because he could have taken over Goku. He could have. But Goku, he's not the prince of all science. You know, he is not, you know, he's not that guy who has that direct lineage that just completely wiped out his people. So yeah, like Baby, like I think he's horribly underrepresented. I think he kind of has. I think his arc is a genuinely good arc. I will never really say that I think that GT as a whole is genuinely great, but I do think that the Baby arc really stands on its own as being an interesting story with interesting ideas. I mean, it gave us Super Saiyan 4, which, let me bring up Super Saiyan 4, like, also, once again, digging back into the lore of Dragon Ball. You know, instead of just being like, oh, Goku got really angry and pushed past his limits, and now he's Super Saiyan 4. No, Goku has, like, transformed into an Ozaru. He has basically transformed into a Super Saiyan while in his Ozaru state. And then, when his granddaughter reaches out to him in an emotional plea, he regains that humanity that he lost as a beast, and then that like morphs him into a new form, into this new echelon of power. And I feel like that's a way more creative thing than just he got angry, or he got a back tingle, or he held hands with like 5 of his friends and said kumbaya, and now he's a deity. You know?
Damn straight.
Yeah, like,
Super Saiyan 4 for fighters.
yeah, definitely. You know, I mean, also that design is so cool. Like, I think GT has like a lot of really cool designs. And like the designs in GT. Actually, wait, I'm gonna hold off on that because I'm still talking about the things that I'm trying to help build on the lore. Like I said, like Super 17, not exactly like a brilliant idea. Like it's more of like a weird as hell idea, but it was a creative idea. And it, once again, like I said, goes back to the source. You know, and it tied it back into the Baby arc, it tied it back into Dr. Gano. But then you have like the evil dragons, and that to me is one of the most interesting ideas. Not exactly a great arc because of how they decided to execute it. I feel like they took like a 4-star idea and made like a 1-star story out of it. like it was just like you know, it's just like oh man, this is a great idea. Let's just tell this kind of okay out story with it. Like they never shot for greatness, and I think that's kind of like GT's problem in general, is that like it never shot for greatness. It was just kind of like, let's just do something kind of fun and entertaining. And which, you know, obviously doesn't gel with a lot of people because they want that hard-hitting action, they want that cool stuff. But like the evil dragons themselves, once again, going back to the source, you know, it takes a throwaway line from the Elder Kaijin in the Majin Buu arc, where he says like, do not abuse the Dragon Ball. Do not, like, you know, that, you know, he never gets specific why, and everyone just kind of writes off like, well, he's just being traditional. And come to find out, like, no, like, you know, it's because, like, every time you make a wish on the Dragon Balls, as far as GT is concerned, you know, it brings negative energy into them, and that energy is kept building up and building up and building up with every wish that they make. And when the dragons, like, when the evil dragons disperse, the first thing that happens is Elder Kaijin just starts yelling at Bulma about, I warned you! I told you, you didn't listen to me! And it's just like, well, I thought you were just being old-fashioned. It's like, listen to your elders! So yeah, like, I mean, they knew what they were doing. They were directly referencing that. And like, to take just a little throwaway line and to just spin an entire story out of that, I think is really cool. And also, this puts the characters in a position where, like, they don't have their Dragon Balls to fall back on, because the thing that has been their MacGuffin, the thing that has been their savior, the entire series, the thing that's really been the only thing that's actually kept the series going, or else everyone would have been dead by now, now the enemies, they now have to turn against the things, like the things that they've relied on have now turned against them. And I just thought that it's a really great idea, especially, like, you know, one of my favorite things is that the 4-star dragon, he actually has, like, even though he's an evil dragon, he has like a lot of nobility to him, a lot of honor to him. You know, he doesn't want to take cheap shots. Yet he wants to fight Goku like in a fair, even fight. And something I think is kind of interesting about that is that his wish, the wish that gives birth to him, and I don't know if this is by coincidence or by design, his wish is the wish that created him was the wish that gave Daimao back his youth. You know, so like it was an evil wish, a wish that was just completely evil. You know, like a wish that was made for evil intentions created the good dragon of the bunch. And like, you know, like you can also say like, yeah, like Oolong's wish was selfish, But Oolong also inadvertently ended up saving the world. I mean, technically he did do it. He did jump in front just to save the world in general. But he does make a selfish wish. But Piccolo Daimao was a character who made a completely selfish wish with the intent of doing harm to others. And like I said, it gives birth to the one good dragon of the bunch. And like I said, I don't know if that's from intention or design, but it was just a really cool thing. Something else I also kind of like is Piccolo gets to be the guardian of hell. Does anyone else think that's just really cool?
Yeah.
Because Piccolo, honestly, he kind of gets shit on in this series after a certain point. After the Sign arc, I feel like he doesn't really get to contribute a whole lot. He gets to fuse with God, and he gets to have a cool fight with Imperfect Cell, and after that, he's pretty much useless.
What about Nail?
Huh?
He got to fuse with Nail and have a cool fight too.
Yeah, and then immediately Frieza transforms and he's immediately useless again. Piccolo just gets to show up and I'm here too, guys. I'm a fighter. I get to have a cool fight too. And then the villain transforms and goes, nope, you're out. Nothing Piccolo does past the Sign arc couldn't have been done by another character. It's oh man, well remember when he kicked Frieza in the face? That could have been Gohan. Oh man, he kicked the guy in the face. What a contribution!
Gohan did kick him in the face.
Gohan does kick Frieza in the face as well. But yeah. Also, another thing, because one of the big criticisms that Dragon Ball gets as a whole, throughout the entire franchise, is death has no meaning. It has no weight to it. In GT, death actually had some weight to it. It actually has some meaning to it. Because the first death we actually see is Majin Buu. Oob is on on the cusp of dying, and Majin Buu swings in, takes a shot for him, and infuses with Oob, so they can become this complete being again. Majin Buu is effectively dead at this point. Yes, you can say that he still lives inside, but Oob is still Oob. He doesn't have any personality changes. He doesn't really become a new character. He's really just Oob, but now he has a candy beam. Which, I mean, cool. He's got that cool vest and yeah.
His skin gets pink.
Yeah, he's totally yeah. So yeah, like I said, that's actually had a meeting. That was the first time. Then we get a lot of people really critical of this. I think it's a really emotional moment. It really gets to me. But Piccolo's death, it is criticized heavily because Piccolo doesn't get to play a big part in GT, so his death doesn't feel earned. But the thing is though, GT doesn't exist in a vacuum. GT is a sequel to the previous series. We have all this context, we have all this history with this character. That's saying that Goku's death at the beginning of Z doesn't mean anything. It's the main character died in 6 episodes, why do I give a shit? No, Goku had been the main character for an entire series leading up to that. We saw that boy grow up and become a man, and with Piccolo, we had seen him become the most evil villain, evil incarnate, the evil side of God himself, and then become this loving, nurturing mentor to the child of his enemy. That's a great character arc for him, and then they kind of ran out of things for him to do. But here, because the Black Star Dragon Balls are directly tied to him, Piccolo does not want to ever let the Black Star Dragon Balls be used against anyone ever again. He doesn't want to see these things are too dangerous to exist. Baby had already used them, so they're already spread across the universe again for other people to use potentially. So he just does the noble thing. He just permanently sacrifices himself. He doesn't go, I'm going to sacrifice myself. Guys, wish me back in 3 weeks. I'm really going to need this. No, he stays dead. And like I said, he gets to become the guardian of hell. That's dope. So yeah, death actually had a meaning to it, had a weight to it. Depending on how you interpret it, Goku is potentially dead at the end of GT. There's a lot of I love the ending of GT. I feel because usually when people want to say good things about GT, it's man, Super Saiyan 4 was really cool and all right, fine, it had a really good ending. But
and
Don Kokoro Hikare
great song. You can play that in Fighters. You get the DLC.
Yeah.
My friends aren't too keen on it, so
Yes.
despite them, I pick it every time. They're like, oh, you're picking Don again. I'm like, shut up, you played We Got a Power 5 times. But yeah, like, you know, the ending of GT is just, like, in fact, like, the whole, like I said, the whole last 5 episode stretch is just pure great Dragon Ball action. You know, and just like some really good Dragon Ball style storytelling at this point. You have the 1-star dragon, he's taken all the Dragon Balls into himself. He is now, like, they are now fighting all 7 Dragon Balls is their enemy. Goku cannot beat him. Vegeta, you know, who has actually matured as a character and got over his dick measuring contest with Goku. As a human being, he has put aside all of that, and he shows up not only, like, you know, and also like putting aside like a bit of his pride, because, you know, he doesn't, you know, train to get this new form. He goes to his wife, the person he loves most in this world, and she builds him a device that allows him to achieve this form. He technically achieves this form through cheating, but he doesn't care because it is for the greater good, because Vegeta has grown as a character. He doesn't need to be that guy who's constantly pushing. Like, he wants to push himself to his own personal limits. He doesn't need to push himself to Goku's limits. He wants to push himself to his own limits. He wants to see how far he can go as a fighter. But when the time comes and the world needed something more than Goku, Vegeta shows up with this device. Like I said, made by the person that he loves the most, you know, and achieves a new form without any training. You know, he just has it handed to him, and he doesn't feel like any type of, you know, like, oh no, like I didn't work for this. Like, no, like, you know, there are more important things happening right now. And the cherry on the sundae of that whole situation is that when he shows up, it's just like you know, it's like, all right, Vegeta, let's you get up from this side, I guess I'll get up from this side. And Vegeta's like, are you crazy? No, we can't beat this guy. Like, well, why'd you show up? It's like, we're gonna do the fusion dance. We're gonna do the fusion dance. Like, Goku gets like excited, but yeah, like it's.
Especially in movie 12, it's like, I ain't fusing with you.
Yeah, no, like, you know, like here we have a Vegeta who is, like I said, put aside all that pride, put aside all that petty shit, and he is now willing to fuse with a guy who he used to despise, a guy who he was in constant competition with, who he just would not like accept as like the better man. But because, you know, he had that very poignant emotional speech at the end of the Majin Buu arc where he accepted that Goku was no longer, or that Goku was the best one. He was, he just wasn't going to be on that level, and he just had to accept that. You know, and he actually stuck to it and then just retcon it like in a grumpy training session like 2 episodes into a show we won't talk about.
Or the Kameha-Con.
Well, the Kameha-Con 10 years out.
Oh yeah, no. Oh yeah, trust me, yeah, no. Toriyama's been retconning that since 2004. It's just like, oh no, they gotta be rivals forever. That's what makes them interesting.
That's what makes me the most money.
Yeah, let's say it's true. But yeah, so you have that, and then you know, you have Gogeta. That's a really fun gag fight. Just that fight just feels like just pure Toriyama goofiness. Where you have super over the top. Like that is the only time I've ever enjoyed a Goku and Vegeta fusion, because Gogeta as a Super Saiyan 4 actually had a personality. He was basically just like a grown-up Gotenks. He's like throwing confetti out and like ribbon on him and shit. Like he's actually being a fun character instead of just this dour, serious, I'm the warrior guy. I'm here to beat your ass. So, you know, but of course, you know, that doesn't work. You know, they defuse before they can beat him. And then, like, just they start hitting just this dire situation where, like, Goku's now powered down. Like the 4-star dragon comes back and it gets reassimilated when he tries to kill the 1-star dragon. That still doesn't work. And so yeah, like, you know, the 1-star dragon goes back and the 4-star dragon goes back and gets reassimilated after trying to, like, as a failed attempt to kill the 1-star dragon. And everyone is just like Goku's powered down, Vegeta's powered down, and Goku, as far as everyone knows, is dead. And this is it. They have no more options. And this leads to my actual favorite moment, no bullshit, in all of Dragon Ball. A moment that literally just gets me in the feels. Like, I mean, Dragon Ball's had plenty of emotional moments. I think we can all think of a moment just like, that hits you right in your feels. for me, that moment, like that number one moment for me, is when they're all trying to escape. Vegeta looks at Trunks and says, "Go, take everyone, get on a ship, get off this planet, come back stronger, fight him, beat him. I will hold him down as long as I can." And Vegeta, knowing he can't win, there is no Goku now, as far as he knows. He has decided he is going to be the lone savior, and he isn't going to save the world by killing the bad guy, but by holding the bad guy off long enough so the next generation can fight that enemy. And then, oh god, and just another big emotional scene is all the side characters just kind of stop. Because like Trunks is just like, I can't leave my father. And then Goten goes, and Gohan goes, and just everyone is fighting with all they have. And you can say that, like, I will admit that the Universal Spirit Bomb, the Genki Dama, is definitely it's definitely retreading some material. Definitely not the most original idea GT had popped up with. But, yeah, like I still think it hits a good emotional beat. You get to see, like, all the people that they had visited, during the Black Star Dragon Ball arc, even some of the crappier characters. You get one last shot of the Para brothers.
Boom para para. Boom para para.
Yes.
Do the dance.
Maybe later.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'll tell you what. Someone bring me some vodka.
Yes,
I'll
get some
para my ass off later on. But so yeah, you have that, but like I feel like it still hits a good, decent emotional beat. I don't think it's anywhere near as emotionally strong as the ending of Z, but where it goes from there, where you have the dragon appear, and he like looks down at Goku and he's like, it's time. And then the ending of GT is very deliberately ambiguous. Like GT, like of all things for like Dragon Ball to ever kind of pull some like inspiration from. Evangelion's a weird one, where it's just like, well, let's just have an ending where everyone goes, what the hell just happened?
Gynex ending.
Yes. Yeah, it's just like, wait, so was he alive? Was he like a ghost Goku? Did he fuse with the dragon? Is he like a dragon god now? Is he like fighting in heaven? I don't know. But,
He's gonna go off and he's gonna have a green
yeah.
D and he's gonna wait a minute.
Yeah, but like you get like, and I love how you get to see Goku visit all of these friends, like Vegeta's just like, you're going off the train. Goku or Kakarot, are you? And he takes off. And then he goes to visit Kameha-Con. And then he comes out Kuririn, and he's like, I'm alive, I can't believe. Goku, or you, is like, hey, buddy, let's spar, like we haven't done that forever. And you get this really great, sweet scene of like these two lifelong friends on the beach where they first met. Clashing fists, just sparring like they used to back in the day.
With the Muten Roshi watching.
Yeah, it's great. And of course, then the Muten Roshi also has that same line of Goku, are you? And it's like, oh. And then, Goku mysteriously shows up in hell, has like his bro handshake with Piccolo with that same line of, son, are you? Yeah, and Goku just mysteriously disappears. And then we get about that 100-year time skip, and we get just that nice feeling of in the future the Dragon Balls will be back, and there'll always be more adventures. We're not going to see them, but Goku's story, even though Goku's story has come to an end, there will always be more. There will always be more heroes. There will always be more battles. There will always be more adventures. And I really like that sense of finality that GT really kind of gave Dragon Ball, that Dragon Ball itself would not give itself. I'm one of those people. I didn't really care for the ending of Z. I know a lot of people I feel like it's a very divisive ending. It's like some people view it as it's Goku's going on his constant adventures. We're just gonna go on Goku adventures forever. Where other people view it as, did Goku just abandon his family again, train some skinny kid he's never met before?
That's what I thought.
Oops, useless.
But yeah, like I said, really poignant ending. There's just so many things that I just genuinely do like about Dragon Ball GT. the designs. The designs are very distinctly not Toriyama, even though they are kind of drawn in like the Toriyama style, you know, like the eyes and stuff, and like kind of the structure of their builds and whatnot. They don't look like designs that Toriyama would ever draw, like General Real. Like you would never really see like a design like that from Toriyama. Baby, I don't think you would really see a design like that. So I think there's a little bit more diversity. Super 17, I really like Super 17 just being a super edgelordy design. I don't think you would ever see Toriyama design. Because like usually Toriyama always went for like the more simplified, you know, like oh, it's the most powerful form. It's like the most simple looking, which I always really appreciate that aesthetic. But I did like kind of the freshness that GT brought to things. I do think GT hits a lot of great like just moments. A good like emotional beat, like even though I don't think the Super 17 arc is all that great, just because Super 17 himself doesn't have like a great personality. I do think when he kills, when regular 17 kills Kudin and 18 loses it, like you just see her break down emotionally and just in a fit of rage. We actually get to see a female freak out and take shit into their own hands. Like the one time a female actually gets an assist on killing an enemy. You know, and you know, everyone's talking about like, oh man, 18 was so cool in the Tournament Power, where she did pretty much nothing but like the support role. Yeah, she's doing the support role, but she helps, you know, like she had to put aside her love for her brother to beat 17, to avenge her husband. And like I said, I think that's like some really cool ideas. GT is a series of really cool ideas, but it's just the execution, the direction that they went with things. It's like you could have taken it so much further. And this is where I'm starting to get a little critical, where it starts being like the Apologist panel starts becoming okay, fine, let me just admit some shit.
Change the name on the sign?
Huh?
Should I change the name on the sign?
No, it's fine. Like people come in here, it's like, why is he shit talking GT? I thought this was the happy GT panel. Right? Yeah. Like you know, like you got to be critical of the things you love, and like you know, I do really appreciate GT. I do love a lot of things in it, but it's. Like, I can acknowledge the flaws in it, and I feel like a lot of people kind of, before I jump into my personal issues with it, but I feel that, like, it does get unfairly criticized for a lot of things, like, GT ruined everything because it made Goku a kid. It's like, well, I mean, Goku being a kid doesn't fundamentally change the story, it doesn't really fundamentally change his character. He's still the same guy with the same experiences. He didn't forget all of his experience. He's not just the same kid that, like, we saw at the beginning of Dragon Ball. He is still the adult Goku, but, like, just in a child body, so we get to have a little bit more childish fun with him. You know, he's still, like, the granddaughter of Han. You know, he's still that character. And, you know, like, so I've never really considered that to actually be an issue. People always say like GT is Goku time. Not really, because you have like the Black Star Dragon Ball arc, and it's a trio. Like they're a trio throughout that entire time. Like everyone's kind of getting even billing in that. The baby stuff, Oob jumps in. Like Trunks and like you know, people are like contributing to that fight. Yes, Goku is the one that is the savior, but like everyone is contributing. Super 17. Everybody gets a fight in the Super 17 arc, where like all the minions of hell show up, and like you know, like Nappa shows up for Vegeta to go, bitch. Yeah, so yeah, like everybody gets to have like a cool little moment. You know, like Gohan gets to fight Rild, who is like a fairly you know badass antagonist in that arc. You know, so like, you know, like, there's a lot of characters contributing. Like I said. 18 helps get the co-assist on the kill on 17. Like I said, first time a woman gets a kill on a major villain, the only time. Then we have like you know like the evil dragons. Yes, once the evil dragons show up, it just kind of becomes a Goku and Pan show. But like I said, at the end, when you get to that end of that arc, you have Gohan and Goten and Trunks and Oob. And everybody's putting in their all. Vegeta, like I said, putting aside all of that bullshit from his past to like you know help his friend, this guy he's known for so long. And like I said, like you know, it's not just the Goku show. You can say like, oh well, Goku's literally the only character that matters by the end of it. Guys, I have a spoiler for you. Goku's the only character that's ever mattered in Dragon Ball ever. I don't know how to break that to you other than just to be honest.
One question. A lot of the criticisms leveled towards GT by the community are criticisms that could also be leveled towards Super. For example, retcons in GT, there's also retcons in Super. It being the Goku show, it's also the Goku show in Super. Why do you think people are so critical towards GT for the very things they often praise in Super?
Okay, and that's a very good question, and I have a few thoughts on this. For some people, I think there's like, the cheap, easy answer, which is like, oh well, Toriyama made it. So, it has the word of God's seal of approval on there, and that's why like people seem to. Also, there's you can also say there's the new factor. It's the new hotness, so people aren't going to be as critical. It's like, oh my god, a new Dragon Ball series after so many years. I'm so excited. I don't care if it's garbage. I get to see Goku do cool shit again. Like there's that also. But I think in a lot of ways, like GT is a great spectacle series. Or I mean, it's Super is a great spectacle series. And that's something that I feel GT didn't have a lot of. GT never went big and bombastic. GT kind of kept things small, kind of, like more adventure-y, like yes, they did have like the big villain fights, but it never got so crazy over the top, except like near the very end with the one-star dragon.
Just like the Michael Bay syndrome.
Yeah, with Super, you got like all that sweet Sakura that our boy AJ can tell you all about. It's got some great animation moments. It's got some really cool fight scenes. For me, I feel that like a lot of the fights are Super's a series that's a lot of spectacle and a lot of fan service. And I feel like for a lot of people, that's all they really needed. They wanted cool fight scenes with great slick animation. And just to have some fun moments with these characters that they've grown to love so. Because I will say, the slice of life stuff in Super is some of the best stuff in Dragon Ball, period.
Yeah.
As much as I don't care for Super as a whole, I will say those slice of life episodes are some of the best written character moments in the entire series, where we actually get to just sit down with these characters, see them as friends, see them interact, see them be a family, just see them in their day-to-day lives. And that was some really, really great stuff. Yeah, like pretty much anything to do with Pan is so adorable. Like Uncle Piccolo is great. It's just it really, because I feel like some people who are critical of Super want to say that, and this is great, turn into this Super Apologist panel now. I feel like a lot of people who want to be critical of Super. Oh crap. I lost my train of thought because I made the joke about it being a Super Apologist panel. I guess it's not going to be one now because I just lost my train of thought on
People
there.
being critical about Super.
Oh, say what?
People being critical about Super.
Yeah, no, I know what that was. I forgot what my point was going to follow that with. That the writers don't care about Super. That they don't care about Dragon Ball specifically, and that's a lot. You can tell that the people writing Dragon Ball Super genuinely have a love for the series, genuinely care about this character, and genuinely want to see cool shit with this stuff. But fans don't make the best stories for the things that they love because they want to see the cool superficial shit. They want to see, wouldn't it be cool if these guys interacted? They want to see the cool stuff, and they don't look at the bigger picture and how it affects the greater narrative. And that's kind of where I'm like, Super just didn't really click with me as it did for a lot of other people. But yeah, that's why I think that a lot of people, I think it's really what it boils down to is.
I think what GT gets shit for is that they only watched the dub in 2003.
Oh yeah, no man. Okay, I'm gonna tell you right now. I'll tell you right now. If you've only ever seen GT dub, and if you've been watching Super Sub, if you like Super Sub and you're fine with watching it in Japanese, I would recommend checking out GT in Japanese. It is a completely different show. It has a completely different tone. Yeah, there's no. We're so bad. Check out who we are. Yeah, we don't get that stuff in the Japanese version of GT.
Step into the Grand Tour.
Yeah, you don't get any of that jump into the Grand Tour. You get the tone of an adventure series, a series that wants to be fun, and that's what GT is, a series that's trying to be fun. Like I said, I'm going to be critical, because I don't have a whole lot of time left, so I definitely want to get my criticisms out of the way. Okay.
Shoot.
Like I said, GT. Cool ideas, they never really do enough with them. Baby, like I said, great character. They really still lean more into his hatred of the science, his whole kind of that persecution complex of really leaned more into that, because at some point he does kind of start becoming a more generic Dragon Ball villain where he just starts kind of killing people and he just doesn't give a shit anymore. It's like, dude, you're supposed to be kind of almost like a bitter like like a bittersweet villain here. Now you're just kind of being an asshole. So yeah, it kind of loses its focus there. Like Super 17, I think there was like a lot of potential for like a character like Super 17, where you could have had like the original 17 fighting back. Like we get a hint of that because I think it's Goku, or I think it was Goku. That tells 18 that's just like he let us kill him. He let us kill him because. Like I feel that the original 17 was still in there, and he left himself open for us to defeat him. He may not have had the control, but in that, he didn't have that control. But like things they could have leaned more into that, and that's the thing. Like I feel like GT just doesn't go far enough. It could have gone a lot further with a lot of its ideas. The evil dragons, they could have done so much cooler shit. They could have had like everyone fighting everyone. They could have had like other characters involved. They could have made it a big sprawling epic, but the series was getting cut off, so they only had like, oh shit, we had to wrap this up in 18 episodes, go. But yeah, GT, not a perfect series, not by a long shot. But I do think it's one with merit, it's one with value, it's one worth watching if you're a fan of Dragon Ball. And thank you everyone for attending.